So the big question is this: how do you lose all the weight that you want and actually keep it off for the rest of your life, while trying to make sense of all the noise that comes from the weight loss industry? That is the question. And this podcast will give you the answers.
Well, g'day guys. Welcome to the next episode of the Weight Loss Secrets podcast. My name is Baron Grant and I'm wrapped to be with you today for another tip, another idea. Now today we're going to get to talk to some other people rather than just me talking to the camera or to the microphone today. So I'm excited about that because we've got Ben and Jasmine who are going to tell their story. G'day guys.
Hey,
Hello, how you doing?
Doing awesome. So I'm excited to have you on because I generally just talk myself on these podcast episodes. I just ticked over 100 podcast episodes, so I put up my 101st today. And so you guys will be 102. But I think it's cool to have someone on rather than just my voice telling their story. And so today we're going to talk about both of these guys and talk to them about their story because it's pretty cool, the story that the journey that they've gone on, because sometimes people do this by themselves, but they did it together. And I think it's a great thing when people in the same home do it together. It makes it so much easier because people aren't sneaking pizza in the other room while the other person's trying to eat good. So I think that's a good thing. But I could talk all day, so I won't do that. I'm just really glad that these guys have jumped on. So we've got Ben and Jazz, and I want to kick off by just sort of let everyone know who you are, because they don't know who you are. And so maybe tell us a bit about yourself, your life. What do you do for work? Kids? Go for it.
I'll go first, I guess. I'm Ben. I'm an apprentice mechanic by trade. We have a now almost 3-year-old. When we did the plan, she was about 1. But at the start, I weighed 98 kilos as well.
I'm Jasmine, I'm 27. For work, I am a cleaner. I've also worked in the office as well. As you said, we've got a 3-year-old, or nearly 3-year-old, and I actually weighed 110 to start off.
And so now that you've already dropped your weights when you started, what are you guys weighing now after the program?
I have had a little bit of ups and downs at the moment, just a lot of stress and stuff. I've actually done the plan twice now.
Yep.
Just to help me kind of get it back down. But I'm currently sitting at, I think, what am I now? So I did get down to 81. But with all the muscle and stuff I put on, I think I'm sitting about 89 now.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm doing a lot more fitness work now.
Okay, awesome.
So,
good for you.
yeah.
And what about you, Ben?
I'm now sitting at 78 kilos. The lowest I got on the plan was 70 flat.
Yeah.
So that was
And I remember
too skinny for me.
I remember we had some discussions. We go, that's a bit too much. Like, let's get it back up a little bit. So now I think you're at a good spot. So
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So you guys did the plan quite a while ago, and I remember I was chatting with Ben just a couple of weeks ago, whenever we chatted, and he mentioned that you kept losing weight after the program, Jazz particularly, and now you're doing other physical activity as well, which is great, and I love that. So tell me, I want to talk about how you feel now in a second, but first I want to talk about before you started on the program. How were you feeling at that point? And had you tried other things in the past at all to lose the weight?
I did. I definitely did. I did a lot of those shakes and stuff just to try and kind of get the ball rolling to see if I could lose anything. But obviously, if I'm not eating right and I'm drinking sugar drinks and stuff, it wasn't going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
I needed to get that water into a lot more water into my diet because I was hardly drinking like a glass a day. So I was drinking everything else but, which was really bad. And then eating wise, it was like takeaway was so convenient, but being able to cook my own meals and just change that was just kind of incredible because you just started feeling so much better once we were eating that bit healthier. Well, a lot healthier.
Yeah. And how did you feel before you started? What was the kicker for you that went, I'm going to do something here? Like, I'm not happy. What was that moment? How were you feeling then?
My moment was obviously having my little one, and then as she started kind of getting older and moving around, I could just feel myself going, oh, when she starts walking and when she starts running, am I going to be able to keep up with her? Like, I could feel my body wasn't good. I had achy knees. My back was always sore. And like now that I've dropped the weight, it's kind of disappeared.
Funny that,
So
isn't it?
it's,
And you've
yeah.
got so you had achy knees and a sore back. Now, you won't be upset by me asking how old you are? Can you share how old you are?
27.
27, right? So you shouldn't be having achy knees and a sore back at 27, right? If you were 56 or 60, it's a totally different story. And I love that you mentioned that because our bodies aren't designed to carry loads of extra weight and they start to hurt, right? They start to feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, like I noticed that as well with obviously our little one, she weighs what, 15 kilos now? And every time I pick her up, like even that's heavy for me. And to go, that is basically what I lost. It's
Yeah.
just, it's like that crazy feeling of how did I have this on my body?
I guess it distributes out a little easier than a baby that you're carrying, but it's still, your poor body has to work
It
so much
does, but
harder.
it's still the same weight.
Yeah, you're dead right, it is. And so, what about you, Ben? Before you started, where were you at and how were you feeling about things?
Yeah, I was sort of in the same boat. I had bad back. Um, Half of that was from the extra weight that I was carrying and also not doing any exercise. Like I used to be very athletic, used to do state decathlons, playing AFL, umpiring it, basketball. I was pretty much every day of the week. I had a different sport on. And yeah, my moment was I couldn't even walk to the end of my driveway without feeling out of breath.
Yeah.
Doesn't help that before that I used to drink quite a lot, and actually I was a smoker as well. I just quit just before I decided to start on this plan, and the plan sort of, and Baron and Dee, they actually helped keep me in control
Yeah.
as well, so I didn't fall back into that.
Yeah.
So that was my thing. I just couldn't breathe.
Yeah, that sucks. And so tell me, because I want to talk more about this, but I want to talk about how the plan went and all that sort of stuff. But tell me the difference in how you feel now. So Jazz, if you want to go first, so how do you feel now in comparison to how you felt, before you started?
I definitely feel like so much happier. Like I look back at photos all the time going, like I look at myself and go, how did I let myself get to that point? Because it was just so much. Like I look at back on photos and just look at my face and I was like, where did it all come from? Like how did it all start? And to look at there thinking I was happy back then until that point where I was like, I need that change. I was like, I didn't know what happy was until I've lost that and I've been able to focus on everything else and have a bit more freedom in my life because I'm able to move around, be happy, do what I want.
I love that. I love the first place you went was happiness because lots of people talk to me about how they look in the mirror, how they feel more confident. But I see it all the time with people who have lost heaps of weight. Their happiness level goes through the roof because they feel confident. They're like, oh, actually, I can move easier. I can breathe easier. Everything becomes just that little bit easier or more comfortable. Is that about right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I love that. Love that. What about you, Ben?
Yeah, same. I was, before I lost all the weight, I was sort of in a bad mental space. So I was battling depression, anxiety, all that sort of stuff, and trying to work through it, but the weight sort of didn't help. Like I'd look at my
Washing
headphone
your
fell
face, all
out.
right?
Yeah, like I'd look at myself in the mirror and I'd be like, oh, what happened? Like I had a dad bodders come on, like I had my beer gut. It was just from going from very athletic history to then having that weight on, and it just came like that. I was a bit shocked, and yeah, it just definitely, I feel a lot happier now. I feel a lot less stressed. I can actually now, like, I go swimming with my daughter every week now, and I'm not afraid to take my shirt off, which used to be a massive concern for me.
Yeah, that's a big change. And blokes don't talk about that. Like women openly talk about feeling nervous in getting in bathers or whatever. Blokes, we all like to act a bit tough and it doesn't affect me. I'm all good, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I don't think most blokes actually feel like that if they're overweight. And you clearly didn't.
No, like that's the thing. Like it's not something that I've really thought about until I started noticing that I needed to make those changes. Like as Jess said, it was fast food was legit down the end of our street, we had all the
Yeah.
major fast food places at our disposal, and it was just easy. You know, you get home at 8, 9 o'clock at night. It's just the first thing to go to, and it was just deteriorating us bit by bit.
Yeah. Isn't it interesting? I read once, I saw in a video, they said, we are overfed and starving to death because we eat so much of that crap food, and that crap food is big volume, but it's low quality. And so we're not getting the nutrition that we need. And so I love that. Thank you for sharing that. So tell me about the program itself. So what did you find different? Maybe Jazz, you tried some other things in the past. What did you find different about this process that you went through to actually change your food rather than doing shakes?
Just obviously with shakes and stuff, it just didn't do anything. And I think realizing how much junk food we were actually eating in our day-to-day life, because we had everything from like Macca's to KFC to fish and chips to like kebabs and stuff all around the corner from us. So it was kind of, we had the variety, so we were just doing that. But we needed that extra energy. And for someone like me, I get low on iron quite bad as well. So I needed to bring in some of that extra stuff as well. So it was good to kind of have, when we started the plan, obviously we just went nice clear food, chicken and the salads, and it kind of just gave our body time to go, okay, fresh start.
Yeah, good.
Detox.
Literally fresh start.
And it gives your body that time to go, okay, I don't need what I was eating. And it's incredible to kind of see that change in yourself and go, oh, okay, well, I don't need that anymore. And let's see what else I can do. And I found, like, even going through the plan, it was good to try different things too, because there was a lot that I don't normally eat, like, let's say eggplant, for instance. I've never ever been afraid. I've always been afraid of eggplant, never wanted to eat it. But then eating it on the plane, I was like, oh, it's actually something different, something nice. And it's just, yeah, it's crazy the way you look at things when you're like trying new things instead of going, oh, I don't know if I want to try that. I'll just kind of go do something else or get a snack or. So it's kind of just, yeah.
I was just going to say, are you enjoying healthy food more now than what you did previously?
Yeah, I do love being able to experiment a lot more. I'm finding, like, even doing the plan for the second time, towards the end, I started playing around with things. So trying to keep them the same, but just making different meals.
Yep.
So being able to experiment myself with the ingredients I was given, to make my own meals was really good too. It was like showing myself that I can do this. Like,
Yeah.
I can actually make different meals that I enjoy.
Yeah. Did you have, at the start, before you really got into the program, did you have concerns like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this, or it's not going to work, or did you have those emotions?
As Ben was nodding, yes. It was very scary for me, because it was a massive change. And obviously when I started as well, like, you have the what's gonna happen? Like, am I gonna be able to do it? Like, obviously starting to get headaches as well the first day or so. That's when it really started struggling, and I was going, oh, what can I do? But having Dee's support as well, that was massive for me, because that was having someone there that can go, you can do it. I had Ben as well, but obviously with him doing the plan, we can bounce off each other, but we don't want to put the pressure of him trying to have a help me through
No,
it.
it doesn't work well, because if he says to you, Jazz, you can't eat that, you'll probably stab him in the face with a fork. Like, it's not.
We're sitting next to each other, so it's kind of like,
It's all right.
it's getting a bit tense. Excuse me.
But you found the support from Davina helpful throughout the process, though.
Oh, she was amazing. Like, I couldn't have asked for better. Like, she's always there when we needed her, when I needed her, and I could talk to her about anything, and I wasn't afraid to, like, if I did have a fall, let her know, like, this is what's happened, or I couldn't eat this, or like, because I wasn't hungry enough, or like stuff like that. She was just there to help me through it, and it was good. That was nice.
So good. That's so good. And what about you, Ben? You had a ripping coach, I remember.
Oh, yeah. That Baron fella. Oh, fantastic.
Keeping you in line.
Keeping me in line, talking about footy. It was great.
How did you find the journey yourself?
Yeah, it was really good. It was different. I didn't expect the phone calls every day. That was sort of what threw me a bit because I'm like, oh, you guys are holding us accountable every single day on this plan. Whereas every other plan that I've heard about or I've seen, a lot of people don't get that accountability. But there were a couple of times there where I said to you, like, I'm feeling a burger, I'm craving KFC or something like that. And you just pretty much just yell at me, just be like, no, don't do it. Otherwise, I'm going to ruin you with steps. And that's like, oh, damn, all right, no more. But yeah, like it was really good to have that accountability. And like even now, I think we still hold each other accountable for when we do have mishaps and when we start going back into our old eating habits of more carbs, like more pasta, rices, breads. We get to that point where like, okay, let's start fresh. Let's start eating better again.
Yep. And that's real life, right? So you're not going to always eat perfect. No one's going to always eat perfect, but it's understanding the impact. And I always want people to leave the program going, this is the stuff over here that I can eat heaps of. This is the stuff I can eat sometimes. And this is the stuff I shouldn't eat very often at all, maybe once a month. Do you feel like that's sort of where you're at? You understand the foods that you can eat lots of, a little bit of, and not much?
100%.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier and more, I guess, easier to now plan our days. Like there was times there where we wouldn't know what we'd take for lunch until the morning. We just pack sandwiches or like me 2-minute noodles where my bread and butter as a mechanic, you just quick scoff it down, get back to it.
Yeah.
Now I'm able to, like today I had a salad and I cooked up some chicken thigh to mix with it.
Yeah. And how many calories do we get you to count on the program?
None.
Yeah, correct. That's the correct answer. I think sometimes so many programs are all about you've got to weigh and measure everything you put in your mouth. You've got to count all these calories. You've got to count your fats and your proteins and your carbs. Nobody wants to live like that, right? So I'm glad you didn't have to do that on that journey either.
Oh, definitely. Like some of the meals on there when we got towards the end of the plan, when we were experimenting, bringing other foods in, like as I said to you guys, I'm like, don't see how this is like good food, but it was actually full of everything that you needed.
Yeah.
So rather than going out and buying a cheeseburger, you can make your own casserole out of it.
Yeah, cheeseburger casserole.
Healthy casserole.
Did you have it? Oh, I always like to ask, what was your favorite meal on the program?
Oh, that's a hard one.
Yeah, see, I was stuck. I love the eggplant delight,
Yeah.
but I love my Mexican salad. Those two were my favorites. I don't know why.
They're often favorites, both of those. And I like the chili lime and chicken salad, but I always like to ask that because I think sometimes people think when you change your eating, you're going to be eating, half a grapefruit for breakfast and a carrot for lunch, but it's not like that. Did you feel like you could eat plenty of food?
Yeah, sometimes we couldn't even finish our meals.
Yeah, it was a bit of a struggle to eat it all sometimes because you had everything. You had your breakfast, you had your snack, which was either fruit or veggies, and to always have something, it was like, yeah, so full on. Because I remember there was a lot of times that I couldn't eat both snacks.
And that's
So
okay.
I was just like, no, I'm just gonna pick one and have that. But no, it was incredible the change that it makes in your body when you go, oh, actually, I'm actually full. Like my body's saying, you've had enough. You don't need more. You don't need a snack. You're just full.
Well, you think about it, when you're eating McDonald's or KFC or whatever else, you'll eat it and then, half an hour later, you're like, oh, I could probably eat something else. Because it's just sort of empty, right? Generally, it's kind of empty. So, all right. So I have two more questions, if that's all right.
Go for it.
Tell me why you think this program is different to other programs that you might have seen online or whatever else.
Do you want to start or do you want me to?
You can go first.
Okay. Well, with this plan, always having the support, so the phone calls, the everything, having the push as well. Like you guys got us to create a board, where we put an old photo of us on and a new photo. We actually still have those. And it's good to kind of reflect on those to kind of make you remember everything. So all the times you had the support and like to show that you can do this. Like you guys were always there. Like, I can't, uh, I can't say how much that support actually helped.
Yeah.
And then having that plan for us where we could read it, we could go through it, like we could visually see everything we needed, and it was just so much easier because it was all there for us. But yeah, I think the main thing was the support you guys had and what you made us do. Like I think, oh, you guys got us to answer a few questions about ourselves as well, and like what we were happy with, what we weren't happy with, what do we want to work towards, and all those really add up.
Yeah.
And it kind of just made you want to work harder. So
I
yeah.
love that, Jazz. The 3 key questions, if you remember on that form, it was tell me what sucks about where you're at and why you want to change. Tell me what's going to be amazing in your life when you get to your goal weight. And the third one's my favorite because it is tell me all the bullcrap excuses you're going to come up with in the next 9 weeks for not doing the right things. So you got to call yourself out a little bit and go, all right, we got to change. You know, we can't accept our excuses. But what about you, Ben? What did you find that was different?
Yeah, as I said before, the accountability was a really big one for me. I've never had more support in a journey, I guess. Like as I said before, I used to smoke like I was minimum 40, 50 a day.
Really?
It was
That's
terrible.
cool.
I'd puff them down and I'd go through about a 6-pack a night. It was
Wow.
very, very bad. And even when I was in that phase, all my mates were like, "Oh, you're fine. Like it's just normal. You'll get through it. It's a phase." And when I got on my plan with yourself, you kept me accountable, and then my friends were all like, "Oh, wow, this is actually making a massive change in your life." So now I've still got that support. But my friends now are still holding me accountable to make sure I'm eating right. I'm doing my exercises.
And you haven't smoked since?
I haven't touched a smoke.
Oh, that's the best. That's even better than food, man. I'm proud of you. That's so good. I didn't realize you smoked that much. That was crazy.
Yeah.
A lot.
So not only is it better for my health, it's better for my wallet as
Well,
well.
yeah, right. Then I'm cheap.
Yeah.
So, is there anything else? I guess my last question is I always like to ask everyone that I interview is, you know, starting a weight loss journey is tough, I think, because it's confronting. You have to sort of own up to the fact that you did this, you created this. That's a really powerful place to be as well, though, because then you're in control of changing. It's not anybody else. You don't need drugs. You don't need surgery. It's me. I did it. I can fix it. But that can be really confronting and really scary for people to actually start on that journey. So what would you say to people who are listening? Because lots of people listen to this who are not ready to start, they haven't started, and whether it's with me or with someone else, that doesn't matter. What would you say to those people who don't feel like they can actually do it and lose the weight?
Well, for me, it's just believe in yourself. Like if you are having those little voices in your head saying, I could do this, but what if? And it's that massive, those 2 key words, what if, is what's going to hold anybody back from doing anything. You can always look at the negatives and what if I don't do this? What if I fail? The only way to succeed is by failing. And whether you do a plan with yourself and D or if you try another plan, it's all about knowing that if you fall down, it's just all right, brush yourself off, get back up, try it again. Because if you just keep thinking negatively, you're not going to get yourself anywhere. You need to look at yourself in a more positive way. That's the best thing that I've learned doing this plan is to be a bit more positive and just believe in myself and Jazz as well. And yeah, just more happiness leads to better opportunities and better goals.
Love it. Love it. Jazz, what do you want to add? I feel like you want to add something.
Well, obviously when I started, I was afraid. Like I still am now. Like I struggle to jump into things and go forward, but I've learned from obviously this whole experience that you need to jump in the deep end sometimes. Like no matter how scared you are or uncomfortable, it's good to do it because uncomfortable is a good spot to be. If you're comfortable all the time and you stay there, nothing's going to progress, nothing's going to go anywhere. So to feel uncomfortable and just take those leaps and just give things a go and just push as hard as you can, it's the best thing in the world.
Yeah, because you achieve, and that's what you guys have done. You achieve, and you get to where you want to be, and you feel so much damn better for it. And that's the key. So
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
wrapped. I'm wrapped with your journey because I know that right from the start, there was. I know from our discussions we had earlier, I could feel the hesitancy. Is this because everyone questions, is this going to work? Is this just another thing? The reality is, it works all the time, every time, because it's no gimmicks. It's just good food from Coles and Woolies. It's just simple stuff, right? You don't need any fancy protein shakes or protein balls or any of that sort of stuff. You just need the right, good, clean food every day. So I'm wrapped that you guys have come on, told your story, and been a little bit vulnerable and just shared it with people, because lots of people would have been in your situation before you started who are listening to this now as well. So thank you so much for coming on and sharing.
That's all right. We're happy to.
Love it. All right. So just to finish off, I would just encourage people with some of Ben's words. I think is we've got to be positive about the journey that we're going to go on, because what goes on in our head has a physiological effect on our body. What we believe, what we look for, what we see is what we'll actually find, and it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Our brain is an obedient computer. What we feed it, it will believe. And so we've got to tell it the story we want it to live. So thank you again for jumping on. You guys are champions. I'm wrapped with your results. I love it. And anyone who's just got onto this podcast, just hit subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, hit subscribe, all that sort of stuff, because it helps us get seen a little bit more. And you'll be able to keep seeing more and more of these stories, as well as some tips and ideas that'll help you to get to where you want to be. So once again, big thank you. Thanks for jumping on, folks. Have an awesome, it's evening for us now, but have an awesome day tomorrow, and we'll talk soon.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.